Greetings, infinite blessings, and welcome to another episode of Together We Rise. My name is Kain Stromberg, and it is my passion and privilege to inspire you to empower yourself. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the ego masks of separation and illusion that we all cast upon ourselves, that we don to disguise or please another person, and how to reconnect to the truth of who we are. To be or not to be, to wear a mask or not to wear a mask, it is a global question and situational aspect of reality at current, and I would like to share my truths over masks in general and who I am at my core. And I would like for you to actually try to guess whether I wear a mask to do with COVID or I don't. Because the mask, the ego mask, is something that I have taken off, but I knowingly and willingly put upon myself to best suit certain people in certain situations. It's all freedom of choice, and as long as you are creating, you are in charge. So, very quickly, the ego. What is it? The ego is your sense of self. It is your conscious human sense of self. It says that you are your body. You have experienced certain things in the past which create the character that you play today. You are subject to experiences, situations, and people outside of yourself. I am a certain height, my skin is a certain colour, I am a certain sexual orientation, etc., etc. I do a certain thing as a job. I live in a certain place in the world. I own certain things. It is the ego, which is the sense of I, the sense of self. And in the spiritual world, there are many people which teach spiritual death. This is incorrect. Is without an ego self, there is no sense of self. To exist in this human body within this 3D realm, you require your ego. Your ego is there to keep you safe, to allow you to know that you are separate to this wall, so that you do not walk into it and injure yourself. We are born egoless. A child does not know the difference between itself and its surroundings. It takes a while for a baby to realise that it has control over its hand, where it does not have control over that wall or the block that it is holding within its hand. It can move the block up and down, but it cannot move it in the same way as its hand. We go through developing a sense of self, and by the age of about 7, we have learned all the information that our ego sense or our ego self will then use to develop our interpretation and perspective of reality. Between the ages of about 7 and 14, we then create all the programs through the information that we learned between 0 and 7. I am the mighty ego. I am here to defy and deny you. I am here to be the superior aspect and element in reality. I am. Yet to try to deny the ego's existence is to try to deny the existence of yourself, an element, an aspect of yourself. I've done videos in the past, ego compromise, ego masks, and this will incorporate both elements of those, as well as the current question and situation of wearing a mask in general, an actual physical mask, not just the egoic mask that we don to please those around us. The ego is there to protect you. If it sees something that is experienced in the past or similar to an experience in the past which has brought you some form of hardship or turmoil or heartache, something negative, then it will guide you away from it. It will keep you safe by limiting your experiences to the ones which it knows are safe and beneficial. Yet from a higher perspective, we know that everything we experience is beneficial, that there is no failure other than the appearance or perception of it, and that in truth, failure is positive, as it is falling around in learnings until realizing everything. Although we can never realize everything, failure is the way that we learn, the way that we grow. And to know that there is an element and an aspect of continuous growth to take place in experience allows for the ego to disattach from trying to deny your freedom and liberation. The ego likes to put things in boxes so it can understand it. And any time that somebody tries to undermine you is because their ego is in a place of insecurity. They feel less in themselves, so to feel more dominant, to feel more proud, to feel more confident, the ego will condemn another person and put themselves at the top of the pile. Is the reason for all separation. The reason that anything exists that is less than acceptance, sexism, racism, any sort of isms, all stem from the ego, because the ego will condemn that which it does not understand. If you do not understand something, you accept it. You listen to other people's interpretations and information, and you learn and you grow. But the ego, if it does not accept it, the first reaction will be to deny it, to defy it. Nope, I don't understand that, and it makes me feel insuperior, insignificant and less. So therefore it can't be real. But it is real, it's proven, scientifically proven. No. But I'll show you the information here. No, it's not. So anyone could have made that up. That is what the ego will do. It will deny what it does not understand, and it will condemn what it does not understand. And it will also feel hurt and victimized by the actions of another person doing the same. If somebody was to approach you and call you stupid, and you took it on to yourself to be true, and you became hurt and injured and wounded by it, and you walked through the rest of the day thinking, oh, I must be stupid, that person said I was stupid. It's their ego that's told your ego you're stupid, and it's your ego that's been hurt by that expression, by that comment, by that truth, because everything is truth to the person telling it and dependent on the person receiving it, whether they decide it to be so or not. There is no good or bad, only perception of it. And the ego will classify things as good and bad dependent on past experiences and situations, and it will do its utmost to keep you first of all safe and then gain you some form of happiness. If you are stuck in a habit or a cycle of going through certain events which seem very familiar time and time again, is because it has become used to gaining happiness in a certain way, and it doesn't look for the downfall in its approach, in its choices. So separating from the ego, we can see that going out and having a big peak, a big spike, going on the waves, travelling up, is beneficial. But if it's a big peak, it's going to have with it a big trough, and what goes up must come down. The ego doesn't look towards the downs, it looks towards the ups. It will look towards the downs if it can escape them, but doing so in a place of self-actualization. So it won't be, as an example, to go out and drink alcohol. The ego won't stop you doing so, even though you know it's going to be happy and it's going to then the next day you're going to feel bad. The ego will override the bad for the happy. It will look for the quick fix. It is your eternal self, your higher self, and going through those experiences that allows you to get to the point where you choose not to experience the massive peaks which bring with it the massive troughs, to actually take the middle ground and continue upon that journey. Constantly raising, yet not doing so too quickly, or not doing so through things which are outside of yourself or short-lived. Happiness is fleeting and comes from something outside yourself. Joy is eternal and forever and comes from within, or the connection to yourself within. Happiness is going out and enjoying an evening with friends. Joy is seeing the smile on a child's face and having that feeling of love reflected from you to them back to yourself. Joy is eternal. So, masks. The ego, I was shown it as colour, okay? The ego mask. I was born purple. I tried to put on a disguise. The first time that I was wronged or shamed by somebody that I looked up to for care and safety, the first time that I didn't feel good enough for them, I put a mask on to try to appear the way that I thought they wanted me to appear. So where I was born purple, energetically, it's all energy vibrating. I was shown it as colour because it makes sense to me. It's the way that I can interpret and process the information source gives me. So it's the way that I'm sharing it to you. So I was born purple. Put on a mask of red. And putting on that mask, not only can we not see properly, because we have changed the lenses of perception, we cannot breathe properly because our faces are covered. We're unable to express ourselves truly or freely or completely, but also we appear differently to others. So, I never edit my videos. They're always free-flowing and continual. This one is edited because I'm filming in a high quality on my phone. I'm using what I have, and the first file saved, the second two were corrupt. There's an issue going on behind the scenes, and as always, I accept it all. So I'm re-recording it. I'm doing so now, and I'm taking this opportunity to actually ask for your continued support once more in subscribing to the channel, sharing this video with everybody that you can, so that we can actually monetize the channel, so I can invest in further equipment. Or if you feel guided to, please become a patron. Support us in what we do, in the inspiration and liberation of humanity as a whole, and the creation of a world of true equality for tomorrow, for today, for everybody in every way. It cut at a perfect time. I was just about to, or I had, started talking about the ego mask and being shown it in colour. So I would actually edit the video from that point and flow it through to this point. So I was shown the ego mask as colour. I was born, I am energetically purple. Everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies, and it does so in waveform. So it's just about harmonizing and living in truth energetically with who you are. To live your greatest life is to live in alignment with your truest self. That is it. There's nothing to be done. There is nothing to win. It is just living your truth. That is what brings liberation, freedom, and joy in all ways. So, I am purple. Energetically, I was born purple, and I am once again purple. Yet I went on a journey of defiance and separation over a long period of time, all to try to actually please another person. All makes sense, and I understand why, and once again I accept it all as it is. So, the first time that I was wronged or shamed for being myself, the first time that the person that I looked up to for love and support, for safety, the first time that they condemned me, I tried to mimic them energetically. I put on a mask of separation, a mask of illusion. When we put on a mask, not only can we not see properly because our lenses of perception have changed, we cannot breathe properly, expressing ourselves truthfully, honestly, or joyfully. It is the mask of separation and illusion, the mask of fear which governs and controls us all globally. Fear is an illusion. Fear isolates, alienates and separates us from ourselves and one another. It is love that is the answer. As you all well know, my philosophy in life. And that is the reason that we are doing the work we do. And the development of the charity key, unlocking a world of infinite potential within, is gifting you that key. Love is the answer. It is love that is the key. A key that will unlock that door deep within and set not only you, but the whole world free. Always love. Always returning back to your heart centre, back to the truth of who you are. And it's all perfect in all ways. So, putting on a mask. And as I said, I do knowingly and willingly wear a mask. A mask of expression to better deliver information to people in a way that they feel safe and are able to integrate and understand. Yet growing up, I did not understand or realise what I was doing. I was purple energetically, and I put on the mask that made me red. I then went through life trying to be a certain way to please certain people. And then new people that came along that I seek their approval and appreciation, acceptance, because of issues that we all have, that we all developed from children, as children, that are all, in truth, easy to overcome. In the work that I do, that is what I do. Anytime we create separation of the self, creating different versions, wearing different masks, playing different characters, we create separation of ourselves and separation of everybody else. It is completion, unity, one, consciousness, which brings with it that state of enlightenment. And that is all housed within our latest course, 7 Weeks to Enlightenment. So upon putting on the red mask, I became a reddy purpley colour. I was lost and confused in myself because I was not being true to myself. Yet I went through life doing the best I could, trying to gain happiness and approval and appreciation and acceptance from external objects and people around me. There was people that I walked alongside, relationships of old. And that, my friends, my brothers, my sisters, is why when you awaken, you end up alone for a period of time, because the old version of yourself that you were portraying, that you were projecting yourself to be, is not true. And everybody that accepted you as that version will fall away because of one of two reasons that I'll explain in a moment. But existing as this reddy purple colour, I walked alongside people and I was in relationships with people because of the way that they accepted me and the way that I projected myself to be. Having done the inner work and realigning myself back to the truth of who I am, and then changing myself energetically, but in truth only returning to the truth of who I am, my true and undefined, unlimited and expansive, liberated self. The people that accepted me in the past have one of two choices. They could accept the new version of me and adapt their understanding of who I am and my place in their story, the character that I am within them, within their play, within their game, or they could deny me. Most often, because the ego does not accept change very well, it will deny what it does not understand, and it will condemn what it does not understand. The ego, the mighty ego, cannot be wrong. It cannot feel insuperior or insignificant. If it does not understand something, it condemns it. If you act in a certain way and you expect other people to act in the same way and they don't, you will condemn them and shun them. This is not you. This is the ego. It's not the eternal self. It's not the connected and compassionate self. It's not the united self. It's the separate self. So, this is how powerful the ego is at playing games. And it's all to do with the character that you play, the character that the ego understands yourself to be in the game, in the story, in the film of life, and the characters that other people play in your game, in your story, in your film, in your book, whatever it is that you would energetically, vibrationally attach to it. Game to me makes a lot of sense. I am player one. This is my character. I go through missions, through levels, and I overcome certain obstacles. There are other characters which I interact with. Some of them bring me happiness and joy. Others bring me learnings. There is never anything that is wrong. There is never any failures. There is never anything detrimental other than your interpretation and perception of it. Once again, failure is just an expression of self. It's how we learn, it's how we grow. Failure is falling around in learnings until realizing everything. Failing forward, failing up, failing around. Failing is positive, and it is the education of such things which will bring the changes of the future generations and the world as a whole. So let's picture for a moment two friends. Susan is overweight. She enjoys rich, luxurious foods, and she does so to make herself feel happy. She's hungry because she requires so much sustenance to fill her, and eating that much to feel content and full, just as the ego requires energy to feel content and full, it then allows for her to feel content and happy. Then she feels negative because she is overweight, so she eats to feel happy again. The ego's source of food is conscious energy. And over a period of time, you can actually reduce the ego's desire or requirement for being in charge, being the driver of your life, to the point where it knows it's safe, it knows it will always receive the sustenance it requires to exist, but it will not need to be in control. The ego cannot be destroyed. It can be compromised with and lived alongside, and in truth as always integrated back into the self, because it is unity one. It is completion of the self in all ways, which brings liberation and freedom and the alignment with the truth of who you are. So Susan is overweight, and her friend Jenny actually enjoys spending time with her so that she can also experience the lavish and luxurious foods that they do together. Jenny actually looks down upon Susan. Egoically, she makes herself feel more superior. It is somebody to look down upon for being even more overweight and feel justified in the consumption of the less than beneficial foods that she intakes, because Susan does it, so I can do it as well. And Susan's really fat and I'm only a little bit overweight, so I'm better than her. That's ego. In the development and awakening of Susan, she starts to meditate. She starts to practice self-love. She starts to exercise and eat and live healthy. She starts to lose weight. And in doing so, Jenny's ego does not understand what is taking place, and she loses the character that Susan played within her game, within her life. She then goes about trying to actually deny and defy and condemn Susan for trying to be healthy and lose weight. Why are you bothering? Don't even worry. Life's to be enjoyed. Life's to be lived. What's wrong with being a bit overweight? You know, you'll never lose the weight anyway. It's your genes. You've got big bones, etc., etc. She actually tries to keep her in that place of understanding, keep her in that box where she understands who she is and what she stands for. She understands the character that she plays within her game. Upon this realization that actually Jenny has no beneficial desire for Susan, Susan actually stops spending so much time with her and continues upon her journey and becomes free from desires and addictions of old. She becomes the embodiment of health in all ways. So what does Jenny do? She has one of two choices, as always. She can deny it and push her away, or she can accept the new character she plays. If she actually is in a place where she requires a character of inspiration, she will adopt Susan as her inspirational character. She can then become a new character in her play, in her game, and they can have a friendship based around that interaction. If she's not in a place where she feels that she wants inspiration, if her ego is very separate and defensive and I am, and she still wants to ingest cake, and it actually makes her feel even less superior, even more unworthy spending time with Susan, then she will push her away. And then she will go about actually finding a new person to fill that character role of being the fat friend. So she can continue to justify indulging in those rich foods, feeling superior to somebody else, so that her ego feels superior to another ego, so she can continue to do what she knows is not beneficial, but feel justified in doing so. This is the trickery of the ego. This is how powerful it is in causing separational issues and the desire to be superior. I am the ego. The ego will like people that are like them. They will see similarities in other people and attach to them, but only if they do not make them feel superior. Okay? And that is the mask. That is the way that you are betraying yourself in a certain way. And when you make a choice to take yourself away from that position, you quite often end up being alone in life, simply because of the fact that they no longer understand who you are. And once again, the ego must stay superior. And what it does not understand, it condemns. So I took off my ego mask, and I am now my true self. I exist in a state of freedom and liberation in everything I do. I create and choose everything that takes place. Just as the file is becoming corrupt for whatever reason, I choose it. I choose it so that I can film this again for whatever reason. I do not understand why always. Quite often I do not understand why, and I will never know everything. But I accept everything and I choose it. And in doing so, I stay in a place of creatorship. The current global situation, I do not understand, but I know it is for the mass awakening of humanity. Everything is mirrored. And when you actually have an issue within yourself, you project it onto somebody else so that you can see it in them, so that if you're able to then, from a higher perspective, notice it in them and know that it is your own issue and accept that, you can then address it and work on it and transcend it. The ego will say it's their fault. The ego will say I'm victimized because of whatever reason. Poor me, this, that and the other, I would, but. The higher self, the soul, knows its truth, knows its worth, and will always act from a place accordingly. So, in the story of life, the character you play is dependent on the actions you take. The thoughts you have lead to the actions you take, etc., etc. And in order to be the most liberated and free and truthful version of yourself, all you need to do is walk in alignment with your true self. So returning to the physical masks, I know that my soul, as well as my ego, wants the freedom and liberation of everybody, humanity as a whole, a world of true equality for all. That is my vision for the future. That is why I do what I do. That is what I stand for. But I also know that to see somebody wearing a mask and feeling a projection or having the expression of fear that I can see through that separational aspect is actually an egoic desire for everybody to exist in the way that I do. That is defiance or trying to deny reality as it is. And the reverse, the people that do not wear masks, that then condemn the sheeple for doing so, you are actually causing further separation because you are condemning somebody outside yourself. And there is nothing outside yourself. When you condemn another person, you condemn yourself. When you judge another person, you judge yourself. When you are projecting upon them anger and hatred, you are experiencing it in yourself. Just as when I see somebody in a mask and feel that they are in fear, I am adopting and embodying that low vibrational being, sense of fear. So what is the truth? What is the eternal truth, not the egoic truth? What is the cosmic I am truth as opposed to the egoic I am truth? Freedom of choice. A world of equality existing in harmony yet balance. There must be light and there must be darkness. There must be love and there must be the separation of it, fear. There must be freedom of choice. There must be people that choose to wear masks, as there must be people that choose not to. It is the diversity and freedom of choice which is the governing aspect and the reason for the existence in this realm, to experience the ups and downs, the waves of life. But can't everybody just choose what they do? Can't everybody come from a place of freedom and liberation, not being controlled or governed by fear? Yeah? Can't everybody wear a mask just to project themselves to care as a way of showing compassion and love for another person, even if it doesn't actually keep people safe? It makes people feel safe and it makes you appear that you care for them. Yeah? So why can't we choose our own fate? If Corona exists, even if it does exist, is it really that big a deal? Can't we choose our own choices in life? Do we need to be governed and controlled? Don't you know that masks are a form of repression, that they have been used to condemn and to enslave people throughout history? Put on this mask. Don't express your truth. Yeah. Don't you realise how many people are in a place of lack, sickness, and that their health is affected by this global situation, and that your choices not only affect you, but affect everybody around you? Don't you see that by not wearing a mask, you are projecting fear into the collective, and you're actually creating the very thing that you are trying to deny or escape? Can't you see how many people around the globe are affected by this situation? Can't you see that the only way towards the safety and freedom and liberation of everybody is to wear a mask? Yeah? I can see all of those truths. I can see all of those perspectives, and I do what is right for me. My truth is my truth. It is nothing more, nothing less. It will always remain exactly the same. So, fear. It is the control through fear and the separation of yourselves and one another, which is why I do what I do. I believe in a world of true equality, and it comes through the empowerment of each and every person, and it starts with you. Yeah, as I was saying moments ago, it is the separation from people outside yourself that no longer gives you that external object to mirror the issues upon, so that then actually you have to think, oh, now that there's nobody around me, now that my colleague isn't with me and that I can't blame them for disliking my job, maybe it's the fact that I just dislike my job. Maybe I am no longer able to see outside myself something which was always there within. Maybe all of the issues actually start from inside myself. And then begins the mass awakening. It's acceptance, as always. So, the issues in life, this current global situation, the shall I or shan't I, to be or not to be a wearer of the mask. As I say, I wear masks because I can, because I know the ability to choose certain ways of projecting myself to then be able to be understood and utilised and accepted by other people, so that I can express my truth, give information to others so that they can willingly and openly accept it, to bypass their ego defense system. I understand the ego and I work with it in the work that I do and within myself. And that is why I can bring liberation to not only myself, but everybody else. But the choice is yours as always. And it is dependent on the choices you make that will create the character you play in the game of life. The egoic character as well as the eternal character. So choose whatever feels right for you. But please stop pushing your opinions, your agendas on other people. Those of you that wear masks, great. Well done. You have chosen to do something with all the information around you. You have processed it and come to a decision. Those people that don't wear masks are just as rightfully entitled to their choice as you are. And those of you that don't wear masks, that do so because you are free, because you want to project yourself to be so. In order to be free and fully united with the truth of who you are, stop pushing your repression or hatred on those that wear masks. But again, that is my egoic desire for a world of understanding and equality and acceptance. The fact that you are condemning people that wear masks and that mask wearers are condemning people that don't wear masks. That is existence. That is part of reality at the moment. And all I do is accept it for what it is. Does that make me better or worse? Does that make me more enlightened, less egoic? Does that make me anything different to you? No, because I am just an aspect of you. I see things through my perspective, and I will continue to always separate and take that higher perspective in order to see from that alternative viewpoint. How big is your hand? Put it in front of your face, it's all you can see. It removes the ability to see clearly. Oh, I can see you. To speak clearly, to breathe clearly, to express yourself freely. It is a lacking and limiting aspect of reality. Your hand is your issue. Your hand is the global situation. When you focus on it so intently, if I look at it really close, I'll be able to discover the answer. I'll be able to discover how to bring freedom and liberation to everybody else. I'll be able to discover how to prevent humanity from being guided towards mass vaccination and implantation. But actually focusing on it from this point, you can't see anything. Lower your hand to your side where it belongs. Separate from the issue. Focus and ground yourself back into now, back into what is happening in this current moment. And when you are rested and ready, pick up your hand again. Look at it from that alternative perspective and actually realise there's another side to it. Perhaps the answer is on the back. Not until we let go of our egoic desire for things to be a certain way, the way that I want them to be because I am the mighty ego, not till then are we able to actually come to the realisation that everything is perfect. It always has been and it always will be. There is no battle to be won. There is nothing to overcome. You have already won. Life is the gift. And living in alignment with who you are is all perfect in all ways. Hopefully this actually saves and works, and I will be investing in a proper camera. It'll be the next thing which I invest in. So once again, anybody that appreciates the work that I do and that would like to support the cause, please head over to the website or head over to Kain Stromberg LinkedIn, head over to Instagram or Facebook, Cosmic Surfer, and actually become part of the Patreon movement. Patreon only page where you gain access to lots of information that is only utilisable and accessible through becoming a patron, and support us. Help us to invest in more technology so that we can actually liberate and free ourselves and everybody else from the control of the ego and technology. Be sure, if you have not done so, to subscribe to the channel. Continue to support us, continue to grow the movement, and head over to Mainstream Meditation on YouTube, where we develop and film and release very, very powerful guided meditations. A energy series, inner completion, child inner completion, and astral traveling, projecting, meeting your soul family, etc., etc. A series of chakra videos, a complete series to align and cleanse each and every one of your chakras, one at a time, and a series linked into the book that I'm currently writing, Beginner's Guide to Meditation Mastery. There will be a course we will create, as well as the series of videos on YouTube. Once that book sells, once we publish it and sell that, we will then go towards funding the publication and selling of the children's story book that I have created with my children. And then that will actually fund and create the foundation to build the charity from. Key. Kain, Ethan and Isaac. K-E-I. Unlocking a world, unlocking the door to a world of infinite potential within. That's what everything that we do is leading towards, the creation of that charity, which will lay the foundations for the world of tomorrow to be built from. As well as all this, I now have my own radio show. It is Wednesday lunchtimes, 12 to 1 o'clock, Greenwich Mean Time, Universal Standard Time, UK time. And it is on Vibe So Late FM. Vibe So Late. We're always vibing. It's never too late. So head over to there and listen to the radio show. As well as all of this, there is obviously the website, greatestversion.club, where we house and launch some very, very expansive and liberating free courses, as well as some very in-depth and life-changing purchasable ones. The most expansive and life-changing course ever created, and the most recent one, is the 7 Weeks to Enlightenment. There is nothing ever created that is like it. Nothing. And that will take you from a place of starting your journey all the way through to complete Unity One consciousness, integration of all parts back into the self, and with it that state of enlightenment. To exist in a state of enlightenment is to exist in a state of acceptance of all that is within the light. Yet in order to exist in the light, first we must venture through the darkness, to discover the parts of ourself lost and fragmented there and integrate them back into the self. To exist in the light is to exist in a state of love. And once again, any time that you shine any form of defiance, repression, any time that you judge or condemn another person, you are judging and condemning yourself. You are not aligned with your true self. You are not coming from a place of love and gratitude for all that is, and you are defying yourself as well as everybody else. So everybody that wears masks, I love you. And I thank you for who you are and the choices you make. As with each and every breath in and out, you continue to expand the awareness of humanity. You continue to expand your consciousness, and with it the universe itself. And for everybody that doesn't wear a mask, I love you. For exactly the same reasons, as we are all exactly the same at our core, beings of infinite potential, love and light. Do I wear a mask? Those of you that have been with me throughout my journey know the answer to this question. Yet I will continue to play the character that is most beneficial to the collective each and every moment. When it is required, I will address a corporate meeting in a very professional and corporate way. Hello, sirs. I'm here today to discuss and address you in the matter of mental health awareness. I would like to offer to you and all of your employees freedom from anxiety forevermore. All right, geez? Yeah, I've had depression. Fucking shit, innit? Well, I've created a course to actually set you free from it. It's up to you if you do it. Links here. Head over there if you want. If not, no bother. Have a beautiful rest of the day, man. Peace out. Characters we play. The character is your choice, and the life that you live will be dependent on the choices you make. Everything is perfect, and it always has been. Just depends on which version of perfection that you wish to experience at any one time. Return to acceptance of all that is. Return to love. Return to appreciation, and choose everything in life. In doing so, you will remain as a creator in all ways. Something happens and goes wrong, or that you feel hurt or negatively affected by, remind yourself it is the ego that feels hurt and negatively affected. The conscious self, the eternal aspect of self, the cosmic consciousness I am, doesn't matter, doesn't care at all. It's just an experience. That's why there is never any war. There is never any battle. It is just a dance between the elements of light and dark, the eternal and cosmic dance of existence. Don't choose a side. Choose the collective. Don't choose left or right. Choose the center. Don't choose red or blue. Choose you. I see you. I love you, and I thank you for who you are and all you do. And until next time, namaste. Thank you for who you are and all you continue to do. Thank you for continuing to gain the knowledge, the wisdom, for continuing to look within and doing the work required to bring freedom to not only yourself, but everybody else. As you continue to do the work, as you continue to expand your consciousness and awareness, you continue the expansion and awareness of everybody else, helping others to break free from that limitation and illusion of old. Continue to support me in all I do. Continue to grow the movement and continue to grow yourself.